Broncos country, we is live. What is poppin', my people? Your boy Mark here with Marcky Sports. Hope y'all having a really wonderful night, man. Nice evening. It's a little snowy here in Denver, so we got the heater running. The wife left off to a bachelorette party, so I got the house to myself, me and the puppos, and hey, maybe I got a little extra time now to come and make some draft content. So excited to spend it with y'all, man. Hope you guys are all doing great. And today marks 3 weeks on the nose until the 2025 NFL draft. I'm fired up, man, and I really hope these 3 weeks go by quickly because I just really can't wait to finally figure out some of the answers about the players that we're targeting, who we're going to end up getting, what the strategy is going to be, because I feel like we've been talking it forever. And this is a unique year for me because I've always loved the draft. I've always looked into the draft, but it's always been very quarterback specific because I know the Broncos just need that. But now that we got it, I am really enjoying my last few weeks, man. Just like Judson said, man, 21 days, 100%. And, I've been really enjoying this draft season. It's been an awesome, putting a little bit more time away from my day job to really just look at prospects, read a lot of articles about them, check out interviews, obviously watch the film, see what other experts are saying, right? And joining the whole YouTube community has been a lot of fun being able to formulate it, man. And it allows for you to look at the game very uniquely, which I like. Because for me, it's like you got the emotional part of being a fan, right? And I know we're all going to have that initial emotional reaction right when it happens, right? I mean, you're either going to love the pick, hate the pick, be shocked, and then you're going to take some time to digest it and things are going to make sense. And I think that this is going to be one of those drafts where in the first 3 rounds, the Broncos might take somebody at a position where you're like, really? We didn't need that. Like, I think corner is a big possibility. I think an interior lineman in the first 3 rounds could be a big possibility. But also, we got to look at a lot of things too, man, like developmental tackle and stuff like that. But obviously, we all know the biggest needs, running back. I'd still say tight end. And then, defensive lineman, man, is a big one still. Even though our starters are good, you never know. You're one injury away, and all of a sudden, you don't look so deep anymore. So, guys, if you aren't already, man, subscribe to the channel. Check out some of the other videos if you love draft content and all that good. Check it out, man. I appreciate it. But let's get right into it, man. Without further ado, let's go for it right now. Bang it. All right, so we got a 3-round mock. We're going to put the speed slow, so in case we need to trade up, we can kind of analyze it a little bit. We're going to knock out through 3. Now, in terms of the draft for needs, I'm going to put this kind of maybe more in the middle. Maybe a little bit less, because I don't think teams really draft for need. I think sometimes they will go for a BPA, but maybe I'll make it right in the middle just to make it safe. The public board versus the PFF board, yeah, we'll keep it like that, and then we won't make it very random. But like I said, man, if we need to trade up, if I'm looking at a scenario to trade up, we will. What I like to do in these situations is kind of preface what my ideal strategy is. I've done a bunch of mock drafts. I can't even tell you, like just on the simulator. And I just consistently, I'm like, man, trading back and accumulating picks is, in my opinion, the best strategy. Now, obviously, it's easy to do that on a mock draft simulator, right? In real life, I don't think a lot of teams are going to be eager to trade up unless like Shedeur Sanders falls and he's available. Some team would want to jump up the Steelers to for us to get him. That could be a possibility. Otherwise, who knows? We might not have that. So maybe we'll do a couple different scenarios depending on how much time this takes. But let's go ahead and go with this. This is going to be what I would do, kind of going through my thinking. All right. So Titans on the clock, they take Cam Ward. Nothing surprising there. Travis Hunter going at number 2. Got Shedeur at 3. Abdul Carter. It's all pretty, status quo. Ashton Genty at 5. I will say, guys, I think Ashton Genty, I'm going to pause you here real quick. I do think Ashton Genty, I don't think he goes to the Raiders at 6. I really don't. I think he might, if he makes it past 5, he'll go past 6 to the Raiders. And then that'll really add an intrigue to the draft. But I don't think Ashton Genty's ultimately going to go to the Raiders for a lot of different reasons. But maybe that's just me being hopeful. But we'll see. I mean, they got Chip Kelly there. Chip Kelly is probably pounding the table for one, if not both, of his Ohio State running backs. They can trade up end of the first round. They're already trading up early in the second. They're already picking there to be able to get one of those guys. So makes sense there. But let's keep this going. Jahdae Barron going 6 to the Raiders. That would actually make a lot of sense. Armand Membu's a great pick for the Jets. Mason Graham makes sense there for the Panthers. Will Campbell to the Saints. Everything, nothing too crazy. Jihad Campbell, that might be a little early, but he's going there to Chicago. Will Johnson, like the fit there. All right, Tyler Warren. All right, so at this point, the only situation I think where I would have been, pounding the table for the Broncos to move up is if Tyler Warren fell, let's say, past Indianapolis. If Tyler Warren's available at 15, go up and get him. Otherwise, I think it may be a little bit too rich. But as you can see, he went to Dallas, so we keep rolling. All right, Ted McMillan, 13 there. Mike Green going 14. Matthew Golden, damn, 15. And maybe thinking about that could have been a move that, we make up maybe to go get Matthew Golden. But I'm not really tripping because I love him. I love Emeka Egbuka, and I love the kind of fit that he is. So Kenneth Grant, Jalen Walker, Shamar Stewart, and then Josh Simmons goes. All right. So this is pretty common. And this is, I think that a lot of these guys that you see will definitely be available at 20. You start off with Malachi Starks, Luther Burden. I love me some Luther, man. James Pierce, Donovan Ezeraku. And then you got to make Egbuka there, right, on the wide receivers. The only guys that I would even consider in the wide receiver room right here is Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka. Emeka for sure. Like he'd probably be my home run pick. But let's walk through this because obviously I love the Emeka Egbuka pick. Now, looking at the tight ends, I think Colston Loveland's available. That's pretty common. And then when you look at the running backs, yeah, I mean Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, the usual characters. As y'all know, if you've been following the channel, I am not somebody that's ever an advocate to take a running back in the first round. Unless you're an unbelievable generational talent like Ashton Genty. And even then, I would only trade up a few spots for him. I wouldn't trade up to like 11 for him. It just seems crazy to me. Way too risky. It'd be fun though. But yeah, so I'm not going to do that. So right now, but there's a lot of guys that I like. Like I like Omarion Hampton. Obviously, I like all these running backs. I like Colston Loveland, and I love Emeka Egbuka. So let's see. We got 2 trade offers. Houston wants to trade up from 25 and the Colts. Now, Houston is probably going to want to trade up for a wide receiver. Y'all, because they want to jump, maybe the Packers and the Chargers. Well, what would they need to offer? Like if that's not going to get it, if I'm going to get a 3rd rounder to move back 5 spots, I personally wouldn't do it. I think I'm going to take Emeka Egbuka here. I think it's a pretty obvious choice. He's just one of my favorite players, man. I love everything about the guy. So let's do this, and maybe we'll run through like a different, just strictly first round or first 2 round scenario and speed it up here a little bit. So Emeka Egbuka is definitely going to be the first pick with the 20th pick. And yeah, it looks like Andy's got our we're on the same wavelength. So Emeka it was, man. That just seems way too obvious for me. And let's see here. So Walter Nolan, Donovan Ezeraku off the board, Mykel Williams, Gray Zabel, Tyler Booker, Nicky Manwari, Kelvin Banks, James Pierce, Omarion going to the Bills is good, man. And Colston Loveland. And then Elick. Wow, look at that. Elick Ao Manor. All right, so the Broncos, we're good here on receiver. This is where we can look at maybe targeting the running backs. Now, I'm going to try to make it a real life scenario because I already know that in this PFF mock, if we stay at 51, the running backs are probably going to be there, both of them. But I want to give a scenario that I feel like it's legit. So let's look at a trade target and say, all right, we pick a 51. How high up are we willing to go to get the running back that I'm targeting right now? So that's kind of some things that I think about. We could also be like, let's see how the board falls and trade back. Because I want to get a lot of picks. I did a really sweet 3rd round mock earlier today that got me 6 players in the top 85. And it was legit. Now, not always realistic, but definitely a lot of fun to do. All right, so Burden opens up the 2nd round. Nick Scorton, Josh Connerly, Derek Harmon, TJ Sanders, Tyleik Williams, Caleb Johnson. I think I would have liked to actually maybe move up. I was thinking now move up for Derek Harmon, but Caleb Johnson is the first of the next tier running backs to go off. Jack Betch, Jackson Dart. All right, so a running back needy team in the Dallas Cowboys. They didn't go. They went Azarie Thomas. So we still got our guys, man. So I'm just gonna kind of sit back and hold pretty and see where the rest of this goes. Landon Jackson. Damn. See, that's what I should. That's always a good thing to know too. Is kind of roughly where Jaden Higgins is going. Because if you pass on Ibuka and you go for a different position, Jaden Higgins can make a lot of sense. But I like that pick a lot for them. They'd have basically 2 Drake Londons. All right, Prince Uman Mielen. Look, guys, it's fallen beautifully. It's fallen beautifully for us. So, obviously, if you're asking me, the obvious pick here is Travion Henderson for a bunch of different reasons that I've outlined. I also love me some Quinshon Judkins, man. I've kind of gotten so into him where I feel like, I don't see much of a gap between him and Omarion Hampton. But, and I think he's got some pass catching upside too. But Travion Henderson is certainly the pick. Now, in real life, could we afford to trade back a little bit, let's say to 59 with the Ravens, get an additional, 4th rounder, and hope that Travion's on the clock? I don't think so. I don't even know if he'll be here. We might have to move up. But I just want to do it because I really want to acquire more picks. But let's see what it is that we can get for 59. We have to maybe we can get 129. We might even be able to get number 91 and have 2 in the next round. I just did it. It's probably going to backfire. So I apologize in advance. Yeah, man, I didn't even realize that. Golden and Jaden Higgins and Drake London. Could you imagine that? Jesus. That would be crazy. All right. So we're picking 59. Oh, my guys are going to go, all of them. There it goes. Oh, good. All right, Maxwell Hairston. Amos. Scatterboo. Hell yeah. Peace. Siobhan Ravel. Oh, shit. Oh, that was the one I was worried about. Arroyo. Oh, God. Oh, no. Don't do it. Oh, my God, dude. I deserve that. I deserve it. I was literally thinking to myself, I was like, man, I should jump the Texans, but are the Texans really going to take them? That's brutal. That is brutal. Yeah. That sucks, man. And the fact that I did this live really pisses me off because now I can't even go back and redo it. But you know what? Let's see. Let's see what comes of it. So if this was the case, and I look at the running backs, listen, guys, I like a lot of these dudes. I sure as hell ain't taking them in the second round, though. I mean, like if I had to pick, it would definitely be DJ Giddens of all these guys, but I ain't taking them in the second. So we're gonna start looking for value at this point. JT. Yeah, JT's a beast from Ohio State. He's a good player. I love me some Restrepo. I ain't taking him here, though. Darian Porter is interesting, man, because I think he could be a really, really good corner for us. I get it. I totally get it. Like, we're good at corner, and he would be more of a depth piece. But, you can think about him. I'm obviously not going to do that. And I would look at the interior defensive lineman. I think I got 2 guys in mind. So, it would be, I'd take a hard, long look at Omar Norman Lott, who I think is a stud, but I think one of the safest prospects, even if that means I got to take him here at 71, I'll do it, would be Alfred Collins. And then when you're looking at the tight end position, I love Mason Taylor too. So I'm not even going to lie. Like if this happened and Quinshon and Travion went after I was done crying, I would probably be like, look back to see, oh, no, I ain't gonna trade back to 86. That's crazy. Yeah. Not really any trade situations. Yeah, if I'm going to make a decision here, you just shore up a strength. You get yourself a really good player in Alfred Collins. CJ West is someone that you can consider too. He's more of that. He doesn't have the length anybody talks about, but obviously a really great run defender. I just think I think both these Texas guys are beasts, and I like Joshua Farmer too. But Yeah, we'll take Alfred Collins here at 59. It's early. Andy said do it. We did it. Atomic, what's going on, man? What did you miss? You missed me be a dumbass. I took Emeka Ibuka at 20. At 51, I had Trevion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins available. I said, you know what? Maybe I can get an additional third-round pick. I did. I traded back to 59, and both Quinshon and Trevion went right before me, the 2 picks before me. So I took Alfred Collins, which, like I said, I'm happy with, but that, it might not be the best situation with our running backs, but let's see. All right, Benjamin Morrison, Jared Ivey, Dylan Sampson, all starting off the 3rd round. This thing is going. Yeah, let's see if we can. Well, I guess it's nice to be able to see every pick. Ozzy Trapolo, I like that. Oh, Mason Taylor, man, that stinks. I would have loved to have him. Well, now the good news, though, even though a lot of these guys that I really like are falling off the board, what's cool about the little pick that we made, even though it still wasn't worth it missing out on both those guys, is that I was able to get 2 picks in this 3rd round. And I think you guys will see how important that can be, man, in this draft. It's such a deep draft, and you could really find yourself just getting some really quality players, not necessarily at like the biggest positions of need, but I dig it. I like it a lot. So, let's go ahead and see. One of my dream situations where like I were to be able to have gotten Terrence Ferguson. So we'll see. Jared Wilson, Elijah Roberts is somebody else I really wanted. So these guys are just really falling off right now. But, all right, so recap. Emeka Ibuka, Alfred Collins, and now I think obviously we really need running back and tight end. And so when I'm looking at these guys, I'm thinking DJ Giddens would make a lot of sense. Could I wait till 91 to get him? Sure, but I don't want to not learn my lesson. And let's see what other tight ends there are. There's Harold Fannin and Gunnar Helm. So I feel like for me here, I have an idea of what I would do. I would take DJ Giddens to be our RB1. I don't want to miss out on him again. And then we're going to flop around here, pick number 91. And to be honest, I would take Harold Fannin. I'm still really high on him, man. I think he's an extremely versatile player. I think he's a much better blocker than people think he is. And he could be a really fun pairing in a Sean Payton offense. I love that fit. Gunnar Helm, you could think long and hard about too. But just kind of going through it, I mean, I like Jordan Phillips, the run-stuffing god that never gets sacks. But we already got Alfred Collins. Cam Williams would be a good developmental tackle. Savion would be a lot of fun. But we already got all that. So the only thing that really would make sense here, in my opinion, is to go to Fannin. Now, if you don't like Fannin, then I really do like the idea of taking one of these tackles here. Really, whichever one they like. Savai Aina, Charles Grant, Cameron Williams. I think Cameron Williams is kind of the only one I would consider here. But if you like him as a future tackle prospect, it's not stupid. It would be boring, but it's not dumb. I think all the really highly rated corners have gone. So, yeah, we're going to go Harold Fannin, and we'll speed up the rest of the draft, and we'll kind of see how it goes. So, what I ended up with is Emeka Ibuka, Alfred Collins, DJ Giddens, and Harold Fannin. I wouldn't be that mad with this haul. Now, listen, if we ended up, missing out on Trevion and Quinshon the way that I did, it would suck like a lot. But all that aside, if you come out of the draft with what I believe is just a surefire, productive, high upside receiver in Emeka Ibuka, somebody in Alfred Collins who, can be a hell of a rotational player year one and will replace JFF no problem in year two. DJ Giddens, who I really like. I mean, I think he could be a very good running back. He's already an upgrade. You would have to get yourselves, what I would be a big fan of, is getting like a LaQuinn Allen. Y'all know how much I love him. Or a Rashard Smith or a Jaden Blue later in the draft. Maybe in round 4 or 5. But that combination there would be good. And then Harold Fannin. So, yeah, John, it is. It was a little bit rough. But overall, I did not hate this pick. What would y'all give me, man? Let me know in the comments. What grade do I deserve there? And then what we're gonna do is I'll run another 3-rounder. I'll make this one a little bit quicker. And we'll do a little bit of a different scenario here. Or did I choose 3? Oops. All right. 1 second, my bad. 3. Yep. All right, cool. Andy gave me a B. I dig that. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, I would agree too, man. I mean, like I said, if we're taking into account that like we missed out on Genty and Quinchon, and like not because we moved back, just because teams like jumped ahead of us or whatever, or you know we just didn't, whatever the reasoning is, then I'm good with that haul of players. I think those 4 guys in the 3 rounds is good, and I really love the idea of getting 4 picks in the 3 rounds, man, because the guts of the draft are there. All right, so let's get a little recap of what's gone of kind of the target players. Tyler Warren obviously is gone. Genty went at 8. And then Matthew Golden went there again at 15. That's crazy. Maybe the Falcons are going to go 15. What does PFF know? So looking at it, essentially it's going to be the exact same situation we had before. But we got 10 trade offers. And I'm going to have fun with this one because I want to kind of show y'all what I did last time. So you could look at the Rams and say they got picked 90, but they don't really have a second rounder, so I don't know how much interest I have. Houston's got a second, but would they give us a second? See, that could be really interesting. Like we'd have 2 second round picks, but we would lose our third. We could offer them like this, but I mean, who the hell knows if this is even realistic? So we'll keep that one in mind. I like it. Vikings really don't have any picks. Yeah. The Ravens. What can you get from the Ravens? Oh, shit. You can get that easy. To go back to 27. We might even be able to. I was getting too happy. No. Should we trade back to 27 and get ourselves 59? Man. Now I'm like overthinking everything. Because you got to think too. All right, if we trade back to 27, guys that we want will probably be gone. But, you know, the Chargers are going to take somebody you want. The Packers are probably going to take somebody. It's just going to be a crapshoot. But you know what? Let's just do that. All right. So now we traded back to 27. I just want to give a different scenario because I feel like trading back is always so much better. They got Malachi Starks. That would actually be really funny. Emeka's there at 25, I figured. And Amarion Hampton is gone. So now at this point, you're left with Colston Loveland. You're left with Derek Harmon, who would probably be my choice. This is what I did earlier. Let's just have fun with it. I'm going to say, okay, let's say I wanted to trade back with Jacksonville. Shit, I'll do that. Oh. Come on, man, I'm live. All right. So hear me out. Now we made a trade back again, but look at how many picks we have now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 picks now in, the top 3 rounds, basically, in the first 2 days of the draft. And I think it's going to fall really, really nicely. Like I said, I don't know how realistic it is, man. Trades are always difficult to predict because you never know. But as unbelievably annoying as day 1 of the NFL draft would be, it could end up being really good. But let's see who the hell is available because I have no idea. So, Alec, Jack Betch, and Jaden Higgins. I think I know where I'm going with this one. Yeah, we know with the running backs. All right, so in this particular situation, I believe Jaden Higgins is a first-round pick. I really do. I think that there's a lot of hype. I don't know, man. I don't see a lot of flaws in his game, and I only see somebody that's got a ceiling. But I'm definitely taking Jaden Higgins here at number 36, and I'm thrilled with that. You got a guy that can contribute for your team right away, and he can absolutely replace Cortland Sutton in a couple of years, but you've got 2 just twin tower size wide receivers for Bo Nix. I love it. I think Jaden Higgins would be a really solid pick here. And now you got picks at 51 and 59. Right? So this is where it was really fun earlier for me. Because I looked at this and I said, man, we got Quinshon and we got Trevion. Now, I think Trevion is the second best running back in this draft. I think he fits, Sean Payton like a glove. I wouldn't even mind having both of these guys. But I look at it like, what kind of a running back, and maybe Andy can help me out with this. If you get Trevion Henderson here or at any point in the draft, would you want to couple him up with another style of running back, later on in the draft, like, I don't know, Damian Martinez or somebody later? Or do you just feel like we're set, we're good, let Estime and everybody else kind of duke it out? We'll see. Because I feel like for me, if we got Quinshon, there's a lot of guys later on like Brashard Smith, Jaden Blue, LaQuint Allen that I love later on. So Andy said it, Trevion Henderson, Damian Martinez is a dream. All right, let's see if we can make dreams come true. We ain't skipping out on this time. We're taking Trevion Henderson because hell yeah, why the hell not? And now you got to love it, man, because we're picking again at 59. So we'll let some of these guys go. I mean, should we do it? I'm not going to do it for this just because, like I said, it's so unrealistic. But, I mean, doubling up a running back here is a hell of a scenario. As fun as it would be, I still wouldn't do it. Just more for the live. I wouldn't do it. But I think that we've got 2 A-plus players here, especially for the value that we've gotten them at. Jaden Higgins at 36, Trevion Henderson at 51. I love it. And we still got 3 picks remaining. One in the second, right now, and then 2 more in the third. Shit, man, you got to love it. So you just kind of go through all your different options. I mean, at tight end, we got Elijah Arroyo and Mason Taylor. I love both of the dudes, and I think they're both very different. They're very, very different styles of player. I think Arroyo is probably going to go higher than Taylor in the draft because teams usually love upside. So I like both of them. Do I love them both at 59? I wouldn't say that I do. Well, I would say I'm good with either of them, but maybe there's other guys that we like more. We can run it back again with Alfred Collins. I think, is he here? Yeah. I mean, that would be something that we could easily do. We could even look at maybe trading back. Would they do this? That's funny. No, we're not going to trade back. We're not going to trade back 20 spots. Because that would be boring. But yeah, I mean, you just get your pick of the litter here when it comes to this. I think this is just too good of quality of players between really Omar Norman Lott, CJ West, and Alfred Collins to pass up here. I mean, they're just imperative players. Defensive line is always something that's extremely sought after. And then I guess I'll look at one more thing. Let's look at, you can consider Jared Wilson. Ozzie Trapillo. I don't know. I think if it was me, I think the fall off after guys like those 3 interior defensive linemen that I mentioned, I think the fall off is pretty steep. And so I would again take Alfred Collins. Defensive line is just way too important. Very, very important. And I see what you mean, Andy. Like, I feel like in real life, I probably would have, been like, hey, let's just get Mason Taylor. But I kind of knew that he was gonna be available still at this spot. But I'd be super cool, man. I mean, I love Mason Taylor for a lot of different reasons. So he's obviously somebody that would make a whole ton of sense here. So we'll take him, and then we'll see what ends up being available at 85, and we'll go from there. But just to kind of give you all a recap, traded back twice, got a bunch of picks, which has allowed for us to now have 5 picks in the top 85, which is just that's so good, the kind of talent. And we got a receiver, a running back, interior defensive lineman, and a tight end. We've taken care of all of our biggest needs. We could literally go into pick number 85 and just say, all right, man, who the hell do we still want? I like Jonah Sava-Inea. I think that's how you say it. A lot. As a developmental tackle, he can also play inside. So I would look here after you've really covered all of your needs, and I'd say, let's get depth at, we got depth in the defensive line. Let's look at maybe getting depth on O-line. Wyatt Milum is somebody that makes a whole bunch of sense. But then you got interior guys like Tate Ratledge. I think Jared Wilson is probably gone by this point. Yeah, he left a couple picks before us. So, you can go about it that way, or you can just, have a lot of fun with it and say, you know what, we would let's get the Ohio State guys, or let's get Jalen Royals and get ourselves a little bit more of a slot type of a player. What do you guys think? Kodiak, man, coming through with the super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Go check out Kodiak podcast if you guys haven't already, man. He's putting out some great stuff, and he talked about Desmond Watson in the third to replace Nate Atkins. You know what, man? I don't even know if Desmond Watson is on here. Damn, that's no love for you, bro. I can't even take him. But let's wrap this up. Let's wrap up the fifth round. If this was up to me, and I can choose anybody that I wanted, I'd probably take Wyatt Milum, the tackle here. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Yeah, so we'll do that. But Desmond Watson is awesome, man. 400-something pounder. He would be a hell of a fullback if he can run. What did he run, like a 5'8" or a 5'6", something like that? It's about what Nate Atkins probably runs after hitting those root beer vapes, Yeah. And that's kind of the problem. Like, it's weird too, because PFF's board, but then you see like the ADP, and I guess that's like the average draft position. I don't know if they're taking into account like of every single mock draft that somebody does on their simulator, or if they're taking a consensus of like all the mock drafts that are just, by the experts. I don't know how they do that, but it is very strange, because I don't see a situation where Mason Taylor falls very far, but he's consistently available in the third round in the mock draft simulator. So sometimes it gives you a lot of false hope. But what it gave me here is, say you should have drafted like Ayo Manor instead of Jaden Higgins. You know what? I like Higgins a little bit more, but I love Alec too, man. I think he's phenomenal. So any one of those would have been good. And I love the value. Going back 7 spots and getting ourselves an additional second in exchange for a 6th. Not a problem there. And then again, trading back to the second round and picking ourselves up an additional 3rd was dope. And this is the haul that we came out of. And guys, let me tell you, man, I love the mix and the balance. I think you got Bo, 3 amazing weapons in Mason Taylor and Travion Henderson and Jaden Higgins. And then I think you've, really bolstered your offensive line and defensive line depth and future starters. So I would be absolutely over the moon with this haul here. Ain't no doubt about it. Yeah, it's so funny, man. I'll take like when you take Travion, actually when you take him at 56, like a little bit later, they always give you a terrible grade. It used to be a D, but now it's a C. I think that they're starting to kind of I think they're starting to come up on it a little bit. Oh, I didn't see you put Damian Martinez. I could have taken Damian Martinez over Wyatt Milum, but he probably would have been available in the 4th. So, it's been 33 minutes. Should we do another one and like trade up now and show you guys the difference? I'm not a big fan of trading up, and I think maybe doing a mock will make you guys realize why. Because even though you get that really good player, oh shit, I don't want it to be that fast. Oops. All right, hold up. Let's do this. And you guys would be able to kind of see the difference between the 3. Yeah, I mean, you already gave me a super chat, bro. I'll tell the story. I'll put it out there. I don't care. All right. So, here's the story. On Tuesday, I was working at the family's vape shop. We got a vape shop out in Highlands Ranch, and I was helping out that day. They needed some help, so I was like, yeah, I'll come through. Worked from there, and a guy walks in. Like, you know what? Let's make it. I did the opposite. All right. So a guy walks in asking for a root beer flavored vape, which is gross, obviously, but I show him it. And I'm kind of looking at him. I'm like, man, he looks really familiar. This dude looks like super familiar. So then I ring him out. He starts complaining that the price is too expensive, saying that the other vape shops have it at $30 instead of at $35, which I told him was definitely not the case because the other ones are also owned by family members and friends. So we knew that. But I was like, kind of like, oh, really? Yeah, I mean, that's the typical price for this, whatever. I was just trying to be nice. And then he goes, yeah. He's like, well, I played for the Broncos. And I look at him, I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And then I was like, are you Nate Atkins? And he was like, yeah. And this is like after he had paid. And he like pulls down his sleeve, and I guess he has a tattoo on his wrist to prove that like I had it. And or you know, to prove that he was who he was, I guess. I didn't even realize that he had it. And so I was just like, oh man, that's awesome. Good luck. And follow me on YouTube. You know, I have a YouTube channel talking about the Broncos. And he kind of just walked out. He was kind of an asshole. And he got into a red minivan, which I thought was really funny. But anyways, the dude wasn't like he said anything rude, but you could just tell he was kind of cocky and an asshole. And it was weird because I think he just wanted me to know that he was a Bronco player because he had already paid by the time he told me that. So it wasn't like he was trying to hook me up. But had he told me while I was ringing him out, I probably would have charged him even more because I'm like, bro, I can see all of your contract. It's public knowledge. I know you can afford a $35 vape, which you shouldn't be smoking anyways. All right. I do YouTube and I sit at a desk as my day job. I don't run around. I only run and play soccer on Sundays and I die when I do that. So there you go. That's the story, man. That is the story. Root beer vape. Root beer vape. Nate Atkins, man. Nate Root Beer Atkins. I'm going to start calling him that. And maybe he did follow me on YouTube, even though he has no idea what my handle is. So if you're watching this, bro, I hope you're enjoying it. Salute to you. It's gross, but mine's mint. Like normal. All right. That's the story, man. See? Easy stuff. All right, let's do one last one. I really want to do this because I want to show you guys what trading up would look like. I'm not even going to try to trade up for Ashton Genty because I'm not trading up that far and I'm not doing it for a running back. I'm sorry. It ain't going to happen. But this is what I might do. Let's see. All right, there's Genty. Oh, shit. I might have to do it here. All right. And that's the thing, man. It's like, I don't know how far do I have to trade up to get Tyler Warren. I would say probably this early. Should we keep it rolling and see? Maybe we could try it again. He's going to New Orleans, dude. All right, let's see. So, I mean, we'd have to give up our second round pick. Yeah, I mean, our second round pick and pick 20 to move up to 8. I love Tyler Warren. I'm not doing that. I don't think the Broncos are doing that either. He'd have to fall. He would have to fall a little bit. And he's probably not going to in this draft. Jade Barron. Oh, snap. Oh, my God. Is he dropped to here? Y'all think he's going to go to Chicago? How much would it cost for us to go up? Maybe we can give him a future second, future third. Shit, I would do that maybe. I can keep 51. All right, let's offer this and see. Screw you, Chicago. Stupid. That's a mock draft. Who cares? Just throw in 191. Bro, for real? I'm just going to force it. All right, so now we're picking at 10. And this is where we're going to get our tight end. Why it's too zoomed in. All right. So here we get Warren. Which means by the time we get to 51, which now we only have 2 picks, we don't have that third rounder no more. We would end up, I mean, hell, it'd be a hell of a haul to get Tyler Warren and Trevion Henderson. And as awesome as that would be, I just still can't justify that this is a better draft than the last one that I had, because you had four more players or three more players that I think were super productive. So that would kind of give you an idea of what a trade up would look like. This is a great draft, and where the Broncos are in a great position to trade back and try to accumulate more picks, because I think that a lot of the talent and a lot of the value is going to be in the heart of the draft. Now, if things on draft night go a little bit different, and all of a sudden guys that we didn't realize were going to be there are not, and you feel like, you have to end up taking one of those guys because you don't want to get a chance on losing them, then so be it. But my man John Houston saying a top 10 player in Starks is too much to pass up or trade back. Talk about Malachi Starks. If you want a running back early, you should just pick at 20 with Amarion. Well, I traded up for Warren, which, like I said, I wasn't really the biggest fan of. But I would say if you wanted a running back early, you don't have to be in the first round. What did you guys think about that too, by the way, guys? What did y'all think about George Payton's comments? I could be looking into this too much, and maybe the media is too, but they were asking him about running back, and he said you can find really good running backs in rounds 2 through 6 of this draft. Is he blowing smoke, or is he just saying we ain't gonna get a running back in the first round, but we can find them in rounds 2 through 6? I don't know. He's not as slick as like somebody like Sean Payton that'll just kind of come out there and try to throw some smoke out there. He'll kind of feel like maybe he just tells it like it is. So it might have been a little bit of a slip, but listen, if the Broncos end up taking it back in round 1, I'm going to make a video being excited about covering it. But I'll tell you guys from now, that would not be my first choice. It just wouldn't be, for a lot of different reasons. I could be completely wrong and stupid and all that for saying it, but I feel like you always got to look at the NFL draft as value, and also in the future. You always got to take a 4 to 6 year approach with a lot of these dudes. I mean, I was heated when we drafted Garrett Bowles because I didn't really like him as a prospect, and then he ended up being really shitty. But here he is on his third contract with the Broncos, and so it ended up being a really good pick. I was over the moon when we took Jerry Jeudy, and we ended up trading him before we even gave him an extension. So it's like, you never know, man. You never know with these things. You always got to look long term. Oh, I see what you mean. I understand. So you're saying you should take Malachi Starks. Safety's another example of those positions, man, where I don't know. It's important, but it's only important if you already have a really good secondary, which obviously we got Hufanga. We're so good at our secondary is so good. Had we not gotten Talanoa Hufanga, I would be like, hell yeah, dude, give me Malachi Starks all day, because we have a really phenomenal defense. So then an elite safety prospect like him can really benefit. But like if you're a team that's defense kind of sucks, Malachi Starks ain't gonna make it a lot better. Like they're very dependent on the other guys in the secondary too. But yeah, I don't know about safety, that early for this team, to be honest. I just feel like we're so good there. And then we also got PJ Locke as a depth guy now. And yeah, he struggled at times a lot. And I'm not a fan of him being a starter, but he's a really good depth piece. And I'm still curious to see what JL Skinner can do. So I still think we should draft him, but a lot later. Yeah, I agree, man. I think so too. I feel like you look at all these players. You look at Matthew Golden, Abuka, Loveland, Derek Harmon, or Jade Barron. All of them, they're like, they fit this team like a glove in so many different ways, especially Matthew Golden and Emeka Abuka. Those guys are like, whoa. But Colston Loveland, man, I feel like we all got really tired of mocking Colston Loveland to the Broncos, and then we got Evan Ingram, so people kind of stopped. But he would make a lot of sense. He would be a very good, very, very good complement to Evan Ingram. I think he's a very underrated inline blocker. He's a beast. He is a beast, man. There's no way around it. And then Derek Harmon, I love. I like him more than Walter Nolan. I like him more than Kenneth Grant, even now. But I like both those guys. So yeah, and then I feel like Jade Barron is going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. That's I don't know if that's a bold prediction, but that's my prediction for this draft. Anyways, y'all, man, I appreciate it. This was fun. You guys are dope. Thank you so much for riding with me. And yeah, I agree with you, John. Let's load up on them picks. But y'all have a great night, man. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the best strategy for us to do? We got so much content coming up. I would love to be able to collaborate, do some mock drafts with some people. Maybe we can get like 4 going where we alternate picks. We do a 3-round. I don't know. I want to have a lot of fun with this because I got to keep myself busy and entertained for these next 3 weeks until the NFL draft comes up. But like I said, be sure to like and subscribe and check out Andy's stuff on I'll link it down below too on his website, man. He's always got amazing draft content. One of the smartest draft people that I interact with. He's awesome. He's always talking about some great, different prospects and why he feels certain players are good and why some guys are over some others. And it's awesome. I've been learning a lot from it. Check out Kodiak Broncos podcast, of course. Check out the homie David Talks Broncos and NFL Draft. He's always coming up with some great stuff. And yeah, y'all be sure to take it easy, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. And go Broncos as always, baby. Peace out.